The spotlight has been shining so brightly on you for the past few months. I've just been wondering how you've been processing behind the scenes, how you've been feeling about everything happening, all the success.
It's just really just I want to look at it like it's just a continuum of who I am, really. I've always stayed to myself. I've always been in my own bubble, whether it's with the fam or whether it's training. How I process it all is just I continue to do what I was doing 10 years ago, and that's like be better in myself, better in the craft, and not look at it as bright lights, you know? And it may sound cliche, but it always worked for me, even when I was younger, you know, playing sports or being in the forefront of presentations and stuff like that. It was like, I gotta look at myself in the mirror rather than looking at it as a crowd or, you know, fame and attention.
So now, early days of your career, you know, Section 80 days, even early mixtapes, and you perfecting your craft as an MC. Did you ever think we'd be at the Super Bowl with this?
I wasn't thinking about no Super Bowl.
You never thought about the Super Bowl
I
with
wasn't
this?
thinking about no Super Bowl for sure. We was thinking about the best verse and how we gonna split this $5 at Church's Chicken or something like that. It wasn't no Super Bowl. Going to the studio and getting a meal. But I think, well, what I know is the passion I have now is still the passion I had then. And I think that carried on to the Super Bowl. So it was all about being present. As long as I was present in the studio and present in whatever that line was or whatever that mistake was, rapping or doing hooks or choruses or whatnot, I was present in that moment. I felt that passion. I think being present and not actually foreseeing everything kept me in the grounded state of mind in order to be at, you know, big stages like this.
I think we felt that presence and that focus in your work for the past 15 years. Like Ebro said, going all the way back to projects like Overly Dedicated. And so seeing you perform with Dr. Dre at the halftime show 3 years ago, we already felt like that was the most hip-hop, beautiful halftime show ever. And now for you to come back and be the first solo hip-hop artist to headline, how does it feel being the artist to hit that milestone? And, you know, just your thoughts on what that means about hip-hop's progression and impact over the years.
But that shit, it made me think about, like, the grind of it. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't see, like, the story before the glory, man. And that shit is like shuffling out your mixtapes and, you know, going to neighborhoods and parties and performing there, hole-in-the-wall spots. It reminds me of the essence and the core response of rap and hip-hop and how far it can go. So for me, that should mean everything because it puts the culture on the forefront where it needs to be and not minimized to just a catchy song or verse. This is a true art form. So to represent it on this type of stage is like everything that I've worked for and everything that I believe in as far as the culture. Like, I live and die by it. This shit done changed my whole family life, so I don't take it for granted at all as far as an art form, you know?
It feels like that was a lot what this year was about too, right? Like you, I guess, you know, you took it and put it on your back and you felt like a line needed to be drawn, right? Was that, you know, was that your intent when you rolled out this year? Was like, yo, I'm drawing a line. Like, this is what it is.
My intent was to always keep, I think from day one was to always keep the nature of it as a sport. You know, I don't care how motherfuckers look at it as far as like, as a collaborative effort, you know, that's cool too, but I love when artists grit their teeth. Like, I still watch battle raps. I still watch Smack URL from Murder Mook to Lux to Tay-Rock, you know, my bro Daylight. This has always been the core definition of who I am, and it's been that way since day one. So I don't think it was a thing for this year. It was always just a continuum. And what I will say about this year, it was more from a space where I think a lot of people was putting rap to the back, and you didn't see that. You didn't see that grit. You didn't see that bite anymore. So I always took that in consideration in going into any type of my music.
That's interesting. So I hope this makes sense, right? You know, we've been following your journey for about 15 years, and you have been so consistent in the messaging, and the focus, like you said. And you've always moved with integrity. So in a lot of ways, I feel like we thought we knew exactly who you were as an artist in a positive way. And then last year, it felt like you unlocked a whole new dimension for us. But that person, like you said, was always in there. But I'm wondering, do you still surprise yourself sometimes? Did you surprise yourself last year, or was it just us, the fans, with our jaws on the floor, just stunned?
That's a good question. Surprise myself? Nah, I don't think I surprised myself because this, for me and for my partners that's been around me since 2005, 2006, like my brothers, they know my personality, they know my capabilities, even when it wasn't presented to the public at first, right? So this is just like a revolving door of what I've been doing in Carson Studios, at the Homie Garage, or my brothers at TDE, or just anybody around the city of Compton in LA. It's just magnified to the level where I've progressed it and did enough hours to know, okay, I know where to place it now. I know how to make it connect with people.
It feels like each album, too, getting to this point was like, it was an album for the culture, and it was an album for the critics. You know what I mean? And then it was for the critics,
Yeah.
and then GNX comes along, and it's like, nah. This album for anybody, everybody, and anybody who want it at any time. And you brought that energy, and the energy you brought on GNX was an energy that I don't think was really happening in hip hop. Like, it's a Public Enemy level energy. It's a Ice Cube, America's Most Wanted energy.
For sure.
Like, it's a classic, timeless energy. Talk about your headspace between Mr. Morale and this GNX.
Yeah, no, that's great. Go back even further, man. Speaking on that energy, like it's my cousins was like DJ Quick, and Dre, these folks that my people was playing. So I always had that DNA, and you heard that DNA a little bit on Good Kid, Mad City, but I wanted to tell my story first, right? And fast forward to GNX, I felt it was just a perfect time because not only the energy was lost, but it was an energy that was bubbling inside of me as well. I wanted to go back to the forefront of just the bite and just the grit of rap, just all raps and hard-ass beats. And that's like the basics for me. I thought about, damn, what I used to like when I was a kid. Hard raps, good beats, that's smacking, right? And it was a great transition from Mr. Morale because that was my most intimate. I wanted to go inside of my own psyche and my own personal withdrawals and see how it connects with the public and who can relate. So during this time around, I think it was necessary of coming out of that cocoon and feeling like, okay, I arrived now. I can spread my wings and show every state of who I am as far as Kendrick Lamar.
And you really did spread your wings. I mean, you just came off a huge Grammy wins. You walked away with 5 awards, and you won Not Like Us won for Song and Record of the Year, which in itself is remarkable. But I think for people who love and respect hip-hop and the roots of this culture, the competitive spirit of it, it has been a little bit mind-bending that you created this massive cultural award-winning anthem out of a battle rap song. And how is that something, after you got off that Grammy stage, you got home in some quiet time, what was going through your head?
I was just thinking about the culture, really. It's always that for me first. I'm not even bullshitting with you. It's like, when people talk about rap, man, the conversations I hear, they think it's just rap and it's not an actual art form. So when you put records like that at the forefront, it reminds people that this is more than just something that came 50 years ago. They forget that it's even been here 50 years, right? And like kind of like belittle it. So I love to see that it gets that type of recognition for just straight raps, from awards to the billboards, all that, because this is truly just as big as an art form and a genre as any other genre. So that's what I think about, and I feel accomplished being able to do that. Whether somebody else come behind me and do it again and quadruple it, I love to see it. If that was my purpose to do that, then that's exactly what it was for that particular moment.
I think people often miss the significance of that Record and Song of the Year award. because that Song of the Year award is a songwriter's award. Like, it's not just the biggest song. It's like someone wrote a
Exactly.
song. And you as a songwriter, when you see your name up there and it's written by Kendrick, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's powerful. And I think to what you're saying, I think there's a lot of people who have become fans of hip hop, and they, you know, you like the songs you hear and know, but you're not actually tapped into the work that it takes for you to generate the output, the art.
Exactly, man. As a writer, you know, and that's what I can appreciate the most. And knowing how much time I dedicated over the years in just trial and error, writing the most terrible shit to some of the greatest shit. You know, we all do it, from writer's block to figuring out how to find inspiration from the most non-popular aspects around me. So it's like, knowing that trial and knowing what I put in as far as my thinking process and what it takes to get there, I do not look at it as a small, like, endeavor because it's a hit record. No, it's actually some writing in that shit. You know, whether it connect with you on a spiritual level, whether it connect with you on a comedic level, whether it connect with you just on a personal dynamic, it's still from a writer's point of view.